It'll be fun. I'm excited to see some of those the coaches on that staff that I'm still good friends with. But from on the field, it's still about the players, more so than it is anything else. But it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you take time to talk to defensive coaches this week?
Here on our staff? No, not really. I've been so busy watching the Northwestern defensive film. Those guys are great coaches. They'll put together a good plan. Well, but what we did is what's on film, and so I don't know that I'm really offering much that they can't see off the film. Northwestern's empty. They play fast. They run the option. They got great athletes out in space, and the film says all those things. So I'm not sure that I'm really giving them much that they can't see on the film.
Is that kind of overrated? How much carryover you have from what
Oh, a little bit. I think you get to this point in the season and you sort of are what you are on offense and on defense. They're not going to change this week, and we're going to go do what we do. So, yeah, a little bit.
How much from year to year does terminology, carryover, signals, things like that, hints that you might be able to?
Yeah. I would assume it carries over, but in the same sense, I would imagine that they'll have a plan for their communication or whatever it might be. So, we're not spending too much time worrying about those things, more so than we are worrying about putting together a good plan for our offense.
Coach Wilson wasn't overly pleased with the receiving corps the week before last. Seems to be better pleased this week. What did you see out of your guys that was better this week?
They blocked better, number one. I think that was a big point of emphasis. They made plays really when they presented themselves. I think we had one drop on the day. And so really, more than anything else, it's like our entire offense that we just need to be more consistent, just in general. And I think that's the same with my position. We're so up and down right now that it's hard to get a good rhythm. But Saturday they made some plays and just came up short, obviously at the end. But they made more plays than we had.
What does Trey do to the rhythm of the offense? Just there were a lot of those long sustained drives, not a lot of big plays. Just sort of methodical.
Sure.
What was he doing for the rhythm of the offense?
He was able to make plays when maybe plays broke down with his legs. And the one thing we saw on film, he just had a really good presence about him, a really good, just calm, sort of that it factor that you look at in a quarterback. And really, as a true freshman, playing in Iowa for the first time in front of 80,000 people, that's not easy to do. So we're pretty pleased with his performance and really his leadership, just his poise in the pocket, and his ability to make plays when things broke down, I think, more than anything else. He's made a lot of progress since August, and quite honestly, he still has miles to go, and I think he'd be the first one to tell you that. But the one thing I've always said about Trey is that he has those intangibles that you look for in a quarterback, that it factor, if you will. And I think that's what gives him a chance every time he steps out on the field, that regardless of what's going to happen, he's going to find a way to make his team win. And really, it's the same thing. When you look at Dan Person and Kane Coulter, I think those guys have those same qualities. So it should be fun to watch all those quarterbacks go at it this week.
One thing I noticed he would do more than I've seen other quarterbacks do this year is he would, when everybody looks at the sidelines, he gets a signal. But then he would go down all along the line of scrimmage and call out
Yep.
some instructions, it looked like.
Yep.
Is that kind of what you're talking about? Is it sort of being
Yeah. Well, that's.
leading?
Yeah, it is. It is, and so communication is a big part of it, especially in Iowa in front of 80,000 people. It's hard to hear. So number one, that's his job. He needs to make sure that the linemen know the play. But yeah, certainly, you put him in pressure situations, and he responded like he had been there before and like he had been doing it for 2 or 3 years. So for us, we're encouraged by that, but again, by his poise and by his character out there on the field. Now, from a physical standpoint and developing his throwing motion and some of those things, that's where he still has miles to go.
You had Houston running Wildcat quarterback a couple of times. What can he do that Trey can't?
Just a bigger body running downhill and maybe in a short yardage situation. I think you want to be careful that how many hits we put on Trey throughout the course of a game, because he's going to get hit enough just playing that position. So if we can snap it to Stephen Houston, let him go straight ahead and get us a couple yards, then that's what we're going to try to do.
How big of an impact on the success of the offense would you say Trey being an element of surprise was? Because they've had IU's offense went out, you guys scored the first 2 drives, 14 points like that.
Yeah.
And then, kind of slowed down there at the end of the game.
Yeah, in the Big Ten, I'm not sure that there's a lot of element of surprise, to be honest with you. Iowa's one of the best defenses in the entire country, and they have been for a long time. So they're going to be able to adjust to whatever happens on the field. Northwestern's the same way. So the element of surprise usually goes away after about 2 or 3 plays. Again, I think Trey just did a good job of managing the offense, taking what was there, making some plays when things broke down with his legs, and really keeping us cool and just keeping his head in the game.